While in prayer, I heard the Lord speak these words to me. The show has begun. I was then given a vision where I found myself standing beside a huge circus tent. As I started walking toward the open doorway, I heard a carnival barker who was shouting loudly through a megaphone. He was standing beside the tent and shouting out, "Ladies and gentlemen, come one, come all. Get your seats now to the greatest show on earth." I then found myself standing inside the giant tent. As the last few people entered in, I looked around and noticed that there wasn't any empty seats in the house. All the seats were now filled. I looked toward the center of the tent and observed 3 rings, a large ring in the center with 2 smaller rings on each side. In the small ring on the left side, there were a dozen or so clowns jumping, dancing, and hopping around, doing silly things and keeping the crowd amused and laughing. In the small ring on the right side, there was animal acts. There was a bear riding a red bicycle around in circles, a large leopard-type cat jumping on various sized crates, and a large, colorful parrot who was squawking out all manner of vulgarities and curse words. In the large main center ring was a man who appeared to be a ringmaster, dressed in a very nice tuxedo with a top hat on his head. I observed this man walk over to a very ornate desk in the center of the ring and take a seat behind the desk. He then pulled a book out of his jacket and began to read it out loud to the crowd. On the desk was a computer with 3 monitors arranged in a semicircle around the computer. The ringmaster seemed to get very upset while reading the book. He then started angrily ripping pages out of it and setting them on fire. With that, the clowns noticed the fire and came running over to put the fire out with a water hose. But instead of water coming out of the hose, gasoline came pouring out, and the fire grew worse. Then the bear, from the ring on the right, quickly ran over and knocked the book out of the ringmaster's hand. The book hit the floor, landing with the cover facing up so I could see the title that was written on it. The title of the book was The Constitution of the United States of America. All of the people in the audience clapped, laughed, and cheered, thinking it was all part of the show. My attention was then drawn to the monitors that were on the desk. I noticed one monitor showing scenes of war, another one displaying bombs exploding and fires burning, and on the third one, there were people running for their lives from all the destruction that was happening. The ringmaster got up from his chair very slowly and grabbed one of the baseball bats that were left behind by one of the clowns. He then struck each monitor with the bat, destroying them one by one. All 3 rings were full of activity, keeping all of the people mesmerized. Things were happening so fast that nobody knew what was coming next. Then the whole tent went completely black. Suddenly, a blinding light exploded through the darkness from above, filling the whole tent with a solid beam of light coming down from the center top of the tent. The beam of light hit the floor, and a form suddenly appeared. It looked like a man, about 10 feet tall, with outstretched wings extending at least 10 feet on each side. This being was a mighty angel, fully clad in heavenly armor, glowing, glistening, reflecting and radiating light in all directions. As the light from him hit the faces of the people in the audience, I saw fear and shock on each and every face. The mighty angel held a giant sword in his right hand, pointing it straight upwards toward the top of the tent. Then he spoke with a loud, booming voice, declaring, "With the power and authority of Jesus Christ, I tell you now, the show has begun." Then, just as suddenly, he was gone, and it was all dark again, and the vision ended.